Good evening to all of you. In the beginning itself, just a small disclaimer. I should not be held responsible for delaying your visit to dinner counter outside and drinks. I came well in time, but somehow I think the subject was very interesting and we had very good panel discussions, and that has resulted in this delay. I can see from your face you all are very serious. So friends, fraud in whatever way is not a new word in banking industry. It was there, it has been there, it is there. And if you are visualizing a state when you will be able to cover up 100%, I think we need to relook into our experience on banking. Generally, I tell my younger colleagues in banks that you have joined banking industry at the right time. If you go back to the decades of, the first decade or even the second decade, KYC used to be a big challenge. Aadhaar came into picture. Now you have ways to verify Aadhaar. You have ways to verify title to goods. You have ways to verify title deeds and the actual identity of the borrowers. It used to be a big challenge. Some senior bankers are there, they can appreciate that. Second thing which I would like to draw attention is, we all bankers as well as fintechs who are here today in the evening, we all have been focusing on our business to grow exponentially. But if you remember, when we take any medicine, the doctor also prescribes a quantity which body can absorb. And we are told to monitor that. We should not take excessive quantity of the medicine. It may react to the extent that it can kill the person who is taking excessive medicine. But friends, when we went on technological developments, I don't think anybody is convinced here that we ever bothered to ensure tech adoption by a common man in the market. We presumed if we know something about technology, everyone knows. I tell you frankly, it was 1995 when I first time I saw a mouse on the desk of our IT officer, Mr. Rajan. It was in Singapore. I was very junior officer at that time. And I was hesitating to ask him whether I can touch this device. And with his permission, I touched that with a fear that I should not do something wrong with this. And today we expect that our common person who is not into banking field will adopt this technology so easily. I don't think we have done enough for technology adoption by our customers. Just by sending long messages or getting their signatures on big papers, we think our responsibility is over. The expenses which we are incurring on tech adoption are minuscule. Please look into that. So technology is there. They will be there. Please pardon me. Technology companies are there to sell their products. Yes, what suits them, they will sell it. But are we looking at our clients, our customers? Are they getting the adoption in a proper way, spread over a period of time? In fact, recently, we were looking into all these aspects of these digital frauds which are taking place. And we had a very big gathering, of experts from banking industry. Some of them are here also. From risk management and IT, very senior people. So the mandate given to us by the authorities was that we should devise an SOP, standard operating procedure, to handle such kinds of things, which are happening in the market, and propose to the regulator, and so that something can be done on this count. Certain things, which came up during these discussions was that why cyber crimes are on the rise. Of course, the adoption is one thing. Fraudsters are changing their modus operandi very often so that the situation should look more realistic. They use social engineering tricks to scam people, as panelists also said, that they are using the emotions. Second is increase in online traffic. Just try to appreciate. It takes only seconds to make payment of your electricity bill or to purchase an air ticket. Can you recall those days that we had to stand in the queue to pay our electricity bill or to purchase air tickets and pay hefty commissions? So a kind of self-satisfaction has come in our mind that it should happen like this, and that's why this product is there. But perhaps we are underestimating the cost we should incur on tech adoption. My humble request to all the bankers sitting here and to fintechs will be, please focus on tech adoption to a larger extent. There are many means of doing that, and there is no technology which can replace tech adoption. Unless our people know how to drive the vehicle, there will be accidents. But unfortunately, we don't have any procedure of giving license to a customer to drive technology-driven products on the banking. There is no such way. We just offer to them at their risk. If they meet an accident, it is their risk. That is the way perhaps we have been looking at our relationship with the customers. Lack of awareness, lack of technical knowledge among police and people, and difficulties in investigating cybercrime cases. We also came across that fraudsters come up with new and innovative modus operandi to scam people. Scamsters use people's vulnerability and fear to scam them. Scams involve fear and threat that the account will be discontinued if the amount is not paid. If screen is not shared, electricity connection will be disconnected today night at 8 o'clock. All those things are happening. Then hackers are selling everything on the dark web, which again is a big question mark. Increasing dependency on technology. In India, cybercrime is increasing with the increased use of information and communication. So after discussing over a number of meetings and suggestions, the suggestions for tackling cyber frauds I can share with you were to have central negative registry for fraudsters' accounts and the official valid documents used by them, so that this database could be accessed by all banks and opening of such accounts could be discouraged, prevented. RBI is having exhaustive database for the fraud, attempted fraud in the form of CFR, CPFIR. Further, this RBI database can be enriched by MHA, Cyber Police, who have the end-to-end data of the companies. In the case of newly opened CASA accounts, banks to fix threshold limits of transactions. Some banks are fixed up, and in the initial stages, they are monitoring. I think we need to learn more from them. Evolving a robust SOP to stop the downstream flow of funds once a fraud is reported. Golden hour concept, like in, we have in medical terminology, golden hour. Same thing applies here also. The initial time is very important, the moment it takes place and customer comes to know. Do we have a system? I'm just leaving an idea with you. Do we have a system where mere pressing that button, it automatically is processed and accounts related to those mobile numbers are frozen to avoid further leakage of funds from those accounts? If bank came to know that any of the customer has received proceeds of any fraudulent theft account in their account, bank to block the account immediately and further steps to be taken as per law. Speedy emanation of fraudster list to be in place. Normally, banks stop the operations of fraud committed accounts, which may be first or last leg of the chain or transaction. That also needs to be looked into. As a beneficiary accounts in which the frauds are parked, transferred may be in different banks. IBA is working on evolving SOP to stop the downstream flow of funds once a fraud is reported. Transaction monitoring through high-value velocity checks, 24/7 fraud operations center, which will freeze bank accounts through which fraudsters' funds are being routed. 24/7 enterprise-wide fraud risk management system, which our panelists discussed. The service of call centers at all the banks may be explored for freezing of the accounts on 24/7 basis. Sustained cyber security awareness campaigns. Again, same thing. I think informing the customers, educating the customers is the only key. Technology, of course, will help, but one thing which is being underestimated is perhaps the tech adoption in a proper way. Somebody raised question about the liability, when it is reported to the bank, then what happens? We have RBI guidelines in place. Customers' entitlement to zero liability shall arise where the unauthorized transaction occurs in the following events: contributory fraud, negligence, deficiency on the part of the bank, irrespective of whether or not the transaction is reported by the customer. Third-party breach, where the deficiency lies neither with the bank nor with the customer, but lies elsewhere in the system, and the customer notifies the bank within 3 working days of receiving the communication from the bank by SMS alert, email, or letter regarding unauthorized transaction. Limited liability of a customer. In cases where the loss is due to negligence by a customer, such as where he has shared the payment credentials, the customer will bear the entire loss until he reports the unauthorized transaction to the bank. Any loss occurring after the reporting of the unauthorized transaction shall be borne by the bank. In cases where the responsibility for the unauthorized electronic banking transaction lies neither with the bank nor with the customer but lies elsewhere in the system, and when there is a delay of 4 to 7 working days after receiving the communication from the bank, on the part of the customer in notifying the bank of such a transaction, the per transaction liability of the customer shall be limited to the transaction value or the amount mentioned in the policy. These are some of the observations which we came across, and the recommendations were finalized, discussed, deliberated. Things are in the process. Technology companies are doing their job. Bankers are doing their job. And it's a continuous process, friends. We have to keep working on that. As some idea to take back, today we have enough wonderful ideas from the panelists, which we all will be working on that. Just a thoughtful process. When you go back, please consider whether we are doing enough for tech adoption of our customers, whether they have the capability to handle this kind of technology which is being given in their hands. Is it not like a weapon which we are giving to somebody who does not know how to use it? Is it not our responsibility to ensure that full information, full awareness about the product is delivered to the customer? Think about it. Thank you very much. Thanks to ETBFSI for arranging this very thought-provoking session. Thank you very much. Good luck to you.